we all came out of Andhadhun asking only one question, right? Which is Ayushmann blind or not? Today you'll tell us.
No, I myself don't know. I mean, I'll find him somewhere in Vienna, I'll tell you. I did my version, then I have my collaborators. Then this thought came, okay, we might do a Tamil version also. I mean, we all need a little love or happiness in our life, and otherwise it's so much, everything is an assault, usually.
Years ago, I watched a film that left me and my stomach in knots. I still remember it was a film called Ek Hasina Thi, and it was a director called Mr. Sriram Raghavan. 20 years later, we're talking about Merry Christmas that has just about released, and I am sitting with you on this couch. This is a big moment for me because I'm a fan girl.
Okay, thank you. I don't know what to say. Cheers.
Cheers. He's having his filter kapi. I'm having a black kapi. We're two South Indians, both almost fake South Indians, from Mumbai.
Matunga.
Matunga is me, and you're also from Matunga.
Yeah, my
right?
mom is born in Matunga.
Okay. So
that's why I spent all my holidays, Christmas and Diwali. I used to live in study in Pune.
Correct.
I used to come here every chutti.
So that's one connection. But I think what connects us a little further is the fact that I think I love filmmakers who love the movies, and that's a very small set. But congratulations on Merry Christmas, sir.
Thank you.
I think it's needless to say we're here because we love the film, and I hope that how's the response been?
Response has been super good in terms of people who have seen it. It's still not got the great numbers and all that, but then it's a certain kind of movie. I hope it grows over the second weekend, and there is both kinds of word of mouth. There's word of mouth, must see it. Some people say it's not like Andhadhun, which is also in a sense a compliment because I didn't want it to be like Andhadhun.
I didn't want to make the same film again, obviously. And I was thinking, because we're talking to you after the release of the film, this chat will have spoilers, guys. So if you haven't watched the film, मैं पहले ही बोल रही हूँ कि आप मत देखिए interview, आप ये film देखिए पहले, उसके बाद ये chat देखिए, because we do want to have a conversation about the film. You guys have sent some amazing questions. So 10 burning questions about Merry Christmas. Sriram sir, are you willing or are you ready to answer them?
Yeah, I'm ready. And like she said, if you have not seen the movie, I mean, you have to skip those parts or something because
it's like,
skip the chat for now. Watch the movie and then it'll be more fun. For your own sake, I'm saying.
Thank you. So I asked, my audience. No, but let me just rewind back. When I watched Ek Hasina Thi, I remember walking out and feeling so uncomfortable because even I was very afraid of rats, and I still am. And there was something about, a female protagonist. For 20 years ago, I thought it was very, very amazing. And I watched the first half of Merry Christmas in exactly the same knots in my stomach. And strangely, the interval point came at a point where it was exposition. But I was not ready for what happened in the second half. And I want to ask you this. I know that you wanted to be a slow burn, but it was so deliberate. Wasn't it a very big risk you were taking with the slow burn being this slow?
See, the thing is, it is a risk, definitely. And the only thing I knew is that it is a risk. I mean, in the cinema, if you enter the hall, you'll invest some time, trust me, that much, and you've invested money also.
Yeah.
So at home, if you're watching it, I mean, if there was a thought of, making it direct to digital and so on, I said, in that case, so people will just not watch the movie because it starts like that. Whereas here, the movie's got the people who went in are enjoying it. And yes, it is slow burn, but I'll tell you, I mean, it's not that we didn't realize it. It's not that we were not warned by our own, my assistants and all that. It's taking time. The thing is, somehow, when you are making a movie, those things become extraneous. And part of you also says to yourself, okay, I know the times are such, everything is loud and the background music is so heavy and so on. And sometimes when I watch a movie which is a big hit, I need to come home and just do nothing for some time because it's still,
ringing in
your head, the sound and fury and that kind of thing. So, but there has been a time when we have all watched movies and I said, let me take a chance and do it. And I spoke to Anurag Kashyap, I showed him the film also. he loved it, and he said, I said, I mean, it is slow, I can try, but I don't know what to do because I'll have to just remove sequences. And he said, no, you just keep it as is, don't cut it and all that. And I said, yeah, it's a little risky, but he said, yeah, but if you don't take the risk, who will take? That seemed like
That's
you know,
true.
yeah.
Because I found that when I was talking to myself about this film, because that's what we do, you have always been known for that crazy interval block, right? Like the Sriram Raghavan interval block is its own thing. To do away with it must have also been an act of, mere hisab se, bravery. Did you think you were being brave at that point?
In the sense, what I didn't want in this movie was, gimmicks sort of a thing, I didn't want that. Otherwise, and another thing would have been the interval is much earlier when you realize that this guy suddenly walks out, he walks out, and you have interval. We could have done that also and all. But the movie is such that it's almost, what is the word for it? You're narrating a story and you need that time, I don't know. I mean, this is what I felt, and I'm pretty happy with the edit. I think the edit is fab because to make it slow and yet watchable, and also
the payoff is great.
Payoff is great, and also I think for a long time I was also you're waiting for something to happen, so everything is loaded.
Yes.
These two are talking. Surely now a husband's going to pop in with a gun and say, "Okay, give me all your money."
Yes.
Or
I thought she was a ghost.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people will think. A lot of things.
Yes.
So that participation is what really makes this kind of a movie work.
Yes, absolutely.
And if you're talking about slow burn, I mean, many years back there was. I'm not comparing my film with that, but Vertigo. What happens in Vertigo in the first half? It's just he's following her, and so on. So.
Absolutely. But I remember, because you said, I didn't want to have any gimmicks. I think it's also because of the time that the film is set in. I know that you said that, it's a time, where Bombay had not yet become Mumbai. And because of that, there is a certain pace to the story, which I think I really enjoyed. But I also felt that you've taken some braver choices, which is, you've not been, I wouldn't say the word gimmicky, because we enjoy the sort of I don't know how to say this. There is a language in your films that comes from just the way things are edited, just visually. I think there was a lot of that also that you did away with. So was that also something that was a conscious choice? Did the time that the film was set in dictate this for you?
See, it's not about the time, because if you're talking about the late 70s and 80s, films were, gripping and fast and so on. So it's not like that. And certainly I didn't want to make what is called an indulgent arty film, not art or anything, arty, it's like trying to be that kind of a thing. What happened is, like, when we were discussing the story, and there was this thing of, okay, story-wise, this guy is come back home and he's feeling a little angsty because there's nobody at home, and if you know his story later, you'll know what all he must be thinking about the second time when you watch it. Now he goes out just to have a good time and cheer himself up, kind of a thing, and he meets this woman. Then of course there's nothing, she doesn't look like his old girlfriend or anything like that, but somewhere he feels strangely attracted, obsessed, and as a viewer you think, oh, is he stalking her? But you've seen him before, he doesn't look like a horrible guy, he looks like something mysterious kind of a thing. Now he meets her, catches her, he just follows her, he doesn't know why he's following also, and then he would have probably, if he had not seen her, he would have just probably gone for the movie. But he sees her and he's embarrassed, and he goes and stands on the line. Then he realizes, oh my God, he's going to leave the line. He has no intention of watching the movie, and he's about to leave and he sees she's behind him. Okay, and then he goes and buys the ticket and he finds out she's bought a ticket just behind him. So this is the game I was hoping, I know that the audience will be enjoying, because they are trying to make up, okay, who's after who, is she after him or he after her, and what is the whole thing going on? Then she breaks the ice by telling him to take care of the teddy bear, and then he cracks some joke, then he's left suddenly. And she's like, then you see she also is left.
Yeah.
You see her story, it's like, oh my God. Okay, she's looking for, in the movie, and he's standing outside. Then he says, okay, I can carry the bear for you. I read a beautiful review where someone likened the teddy bear to her woes, Maria's woes,
Yeah.
And so when he says, I'll take it. This is not my interpretation. It's somebody sort of,
else's,
But I loved it.
But this is what the fun part is, right? That we can come and give you all of our interpretations, and then you can choose the ones that you like.
No, some of them really, I was joking with I was actually telling my assistants and people, reading some of these reviews, I feel like watching the movie. It's like that.
No, when I saw that stuff, we do this thinking, right? And I remember, was the stuffed toy an allegory for stuffed up Jerome? later, because, that guy,
Right.
because in my head, it's so much fun watching a Sriram Raghavan film because you are also trying to solve this mystery with you. And I remember at one point I thought that maybe Jerome is not even a human; it's a stuffed man. Because until much later,
Taxidermy,
yeah, like a
like,
taxidermy guy. Because why not? Right? There's the Hitchcock in the back of your head somewhere, right? And then I remember when he it's impossible to think while the film is on that this is the first time she's actually attempting this, because there is so much thought to it, right?
Right.
Ultimately, it's a perfect crime. And I thought, does she do this all the time? Is this a trick that she does over and over again? But then, of course, you find out otherwise.
So now they both walk and she talks about her life. Somebody wishes them Merry Christmas and she says, everybody's happy. They think I'm so happy. And, and then he almost reaches the house. Now, ideally, she would take the child and, okay, thank you, bye bye, kind of a thing. But she's not. She's opened the door, then the lift, and they have got into a conversation. And before that, he's got a weighing machine card which says night is darkest before dawn, and she says the same thing. So it is some strange serendipitous kind of a whatever world. It is not a real world. I mean, if it happens to us, we'll feel too thrilled. But now he goes inside and she's left him. I'll put the kid to bed, have a drink, and so on. Now he's going to spend a few minutes in the house. So initially we had thought we'll have a song there, we had told Preetam there's a song, and in the film there's that song Nazar Teri Tufan hai, So that was the song that was supposed to be playing on the record. It's supposed to be some old somebody else's song, and it's just there, some unfictitious movie, and she's played that. Because that song also, if you remember, ends with a crescendo.
Yes.
So I told Preetam, I need a song which is ending with a crescendo, and he had made Nazar. It's a beautiful song. And in fact, when we were shooting it, we were sort of keep playing that, because anyway, there's no playback as such. It's just various shots which we put together. Then we felt that it should not be a song because the song is it's distracting. The lyrics are distracting me here, and it's like, okay, what's he saying? He's just meta. He can't flip poro, can't already have flip poro. He's just sort of tentative and kind of a thing. He's just saying, okay, well, I don't know what kind of a dream I'm in, but it's like so far so good. That's what he's saying. So we said we'll put a instrumental or a classical piece or something, and Horror the Mortis King is actually quite is tense,
It's tense, yeah. And then it builds to this massive crescendo which can hide the gunshot eventually.
Right.
So
that was a sort of an idea from Man Who Knew Too Much, where you shoot when the
crescendo kicks
when the cymbals
flash. Yes.
So in fact, I used to, when we were scripting it or sort of doing the shots and all that, we used to play the Hitchcock sound, and that is like, it's so well shot and so well cut. I don't have that kind of cuts. I only got her and him, and the little thing of the audience they should register. Okay, she said, I'll drop the kid. She's in the other room, and you better let her come, and so that was the reason the song was so we shifted the song to the second half.
Correct.
Nazar.
Correct. And then the song choice, of course, for the climax. I love this film so much because there is so much unlike a Sriram Raghavan film, where I've noticed that whether it was Johnny Gadar or whether it was even Ek Hasina Thi, there were portions of the film where your lead character doesn't say a word, because it's just, what happens is more exciting. And they're usually loners. They're having their own journey through all of this. It's so much action. This, as a different film, I had two of them talking so much. And all of it was dialogue, which I thought was very refreshing. And then towards the end, you suspend every word. So I thought that was a great choice. And the track there as well. So anything on the track there?
The track there is Vivaldi.
Yes.
Winter. And actually what happened is that track is completely, I would give credit to Pooja, because when we shot the film, it was not shot with any music in mind, We in fact had thought the other way around. It is all happening with, the X happens and everything goes into, there is no dialogue after that. There'll be the sound of the fan, the old police station fan, and the swinging doors opening, and stuff like that. All incidental sounds, typewriter, everything enhanced, and that was the basic idea. And then when he goes and sits on the bench, that's where the music will start, which will go into the title. That was the original plan. And then when Pooja was editing it, she had to edit it silent, and sometimes what happens when you edit silent, it's good to edit with some piece of music as a reference, so that it gives you
Rhythm.
So somehow she chose that piece and she told me, just come and watch this cut, And I suddenly saw it and said, wow, this works,
Wow. Okay.
And funnily, we had used Vivaldi also in Andhadhun, the climax of Andhadhun.
Yes.
So Vivaldi has been our savior a couple of
Vivaldi,
times.
yes. It's been a Vivaldi savior.
I must get a Vivaldi t-shirt.
Now you must. Absolutely. I was curious because Tips brought this film to us. Did you have access to the entire library? Because you still chose Jab Andhera Hota Hai, which is with Saregama.
No, that is we had to pay through our nose for it.
My Tips had lots of music you could have used.
No. So what happened is Tips has got mostly movies from a certain era,
Time,
but Saregama has got the real treasure trove.
Yes.
And I think I have to go and tell them, guys, I can't use your songs anymore, because what happened is we had got 3-4 more songs. My first wish list was costing us something in crores, So I mean, I said we can't afford this. But of that, so I said, okay, this I can do without, this I can do without. Yeah. And, but this one I wanted. 2 pieces I finally licensed from them was Jab Andhera Hota Hai and that trumpet from Kai Baar Yun Hi Dekha Hai, which I thought was like, if you've seen the movie, I mean, that same taxi, the same sort of a thing. It's sort of, when we put that piece now, we said, okay, whatever happens, we have to keep
the. Another, I think, one question that I was left with when I watched the film was, there's a particular time when she saves the fish, right? And there are 2 interpretations to this. One is that because she's a nice person, perhaps, okay, suddenly, but then she's also someone who's committed a, murder. So then I was like, that can't be it. The other interpretation of that is that she actually likes Vijay, and that's how we figured out, So I just wanted to ask you, which of these 2 were your motivations to write that scene? No,
what happened there is, I mean, the fish was anyway when the set was being made, there was this fish bowl, and we had just kept it, and there were these other glass fish looking at them. It's like, 2 real fish and 2
of them, yes.
And 2
lost souls swimming in a fish bowl. I mean, if you want, you can.
Yeah, you can do all that. And so now, when she's destroying everything, we thought, okay, what will she do with the fish? Obviously, we don't need to show. I mean, if she is sort of, if we don't show anything about the fish, like there's so many things we have not shown what happened to them, because the house is too well propped,
Yes.
So, okay, the wood can be destroyed, the cushions can be torn apart, but there are objects which what will you do with them? You can't burn them, and where do you hide them and so on. Fishbowl is easy. Then I said, okay, I mean, there's a commode in the house, so she's put that. Maybe 2 days later, she'll replenish the water and keep it somewhere, because there are the other place or other room also has got those 2 fish.
Yes.
And these are so extra 2 fish. So will she chuck them, or will there be 4 fish later, kind of a thing? So my thing was, the commode was only my idea, and after that, when I saw that shot of the fish sort of dancing, navigating through that thing, and almost fluttering and all that. For me, it just reminded me of, this is a shot Truffaut would love, So it's a very Truffaut shot. That's the only reason for it being there. All interpretations are
mine only then. Okay.
Everybody will have, and I just love it when Vijay sees it and then he comes out and does something to her, like, you're too good or something like that. He does.
Yes. I also think that, speaking of what, these are choices, right? Like, what do you show, what do you not show? And I think Tarantino is one of those filmmakers, despite being one of the most violent guys in the world, he does not show sex. And I think that that's a choice. Maybe he's prudish in that sense, right? And you made a very deliberate choice of not really telling us, what happened to the girl and what happened between the father and the daughter. Why?
See, again, because it's abuse. Now, abuse you can either talk about, or you can. I mean,
talk about, and it's worse. And talk about it, honestly, it was worse.
So my thing was, in fact, while writing the original version, there were also scenes of, where he's sort of holding the child out of the window and just scaring her to death, kind of a thing. Who was Mama with today? Something like that. Some stupid things like that.
Yeah.
Then I felt, like I remember that movie Agni Sakshi, with Nana Patekar. So I'm saying, do I want to do that kind of? Do I want to go there, or do I want to rather suggest and?
This was worse. Thank you. Because in my head, I was just like, I don't know what. But I'll also tell you, like, we all came out of Andhadhun asking only one question, right? Which is Ayushmann blind or not? Today you'll tell us.
No, I myself don't know. I mean, I'll find him somewhere in Vienna, I'll tell you.
Like, I can't believe he's still not answering this question. Like, I have gone mad with the answer to this question. I just don't know. I keep rewatching the film. And now I'm convinced that he was not blind even when Tabu fed him those laddus. He pretended to be blind.
No. When Tabu fed him the laddus, he was like, see, in Andhadhun, when he opens the door, at that time he can see. And then when she says, why didn't you come for the ceremony or something? And she prasad, and he takes that. He knows.
Of course, that time he can see.
That time he can see.
But when he puts his, face in the bucket of water.
No, that time she has blinded him. Otherwise, why would he put his face in the water? I mean,
okay.
It's not for a shampoo.
Okay. Fair. And he's by himself there. So it has happened.
Yeah.
But he could have healed.
No.
Or the cornea was taken. Please.
No. Okay. What I'm saying is, for the best dramatic flow of the story, the only place he can actually, he was blind till the doctor gives him this very devilish offer, Yes. After that, he can choose what he wants to do. In the car. There he can choose. He can choose what would I do and what would somebody else do. Like I remember, I don't think that line was eventually used in the film, where he tells the doctor, if I ever do something like that, I may get my eyes back, but I'll never be able to play music again. And you think, later on, if he has said that, that is a deadly villain actually, who will say something so saintly and do something so horrible.
Crazy. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's best to leave it that.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot. But it was, so the reason I spoke about Andhadhun is because we came out asking ourselves, was he blind? But in this film, when the reveal happens, my question was suddenly, because it's you, was she dumb?
For doing the last thing she did?
Yeah.
No, because you're saying the cops are there.
No, was she actually dumb at all, or was she asked to keep
quiet? No, the child, you're talking about the child. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Maria.
Yes. Was she mute? Sorry, it's a better question. Yeah. Yes.
No, she was mute. She was mute, but out of God knows what.
Fear, being told that you have to keep quiet.
No. That is impossible because I don't think at that age a child, I would be able to, as a mother or a potential killer, murderer, whatever, I'll be able to trust the kid to, and there's no reason to do that.
Yes.
There's no reason to do that. What at the most I would do is put cotton in the child's ears, and maybe if I want to ensure the child is asleep during all the mayhem and all, then I'll give it some Benadryl or something which is a mildly, it can make her sleep, kind of thing. But no, the child was mute. That's all tied up in a sense. He tells her a story in the night.
Yes, which, of course. Logically, it made sense, but because...
No, but that is, it's fine, because when you see a mute child in a thriller like this, you'll say, oh, maybe. So that is all the viewer... Viewer has enough ample choices to, okay, maybe this is... So these are theories you build up, and which is good for me.
Yes, you enjoy this.
Enjoy your participation.
That's what we're doing, right? Because we are going into your films... मतलब खाना वाना सब साइड में रख के हम लोग जाते हैं ना कि भाई अभी तो हमको काम करना है, हमको सिर्फ बैठ के देखना नहीं है, which is I think its own sort of merriment as well. For us, the ones who love Tinu Anand, thank you for bringing Tinu Anand. Like, I just think he's just a warm, wonderful presence.
He's superb.
Also, he loves the movies as much as you do, and he's a great storyteller. Like, I'm sure you spend time with him. But for my audience, if you ever get a chance to speak to Tinu Anand about Satyajit Ray and the days that he spent.
I've spoken to him about all that.
It is just a delight. Having him there was great, his warm presence. Did he know that Albert had been to jail?
Of course he knew. He says, that's why we're getting subtle hints. Everything is not, I didn't want to spell it out because, when he tells Albert, I used to feel very bad when you said that the food there was not good.
Yes.
So, and Albert looks at him like, how did he know? He says, I used to read your letters to your mother.
Yes.
So, obviously, the letters are coming from whatever XYZ jail ka.
So, he knew.
Yeah, he knew.
Tinu Anand at one point gives him the wine and says that, I love the word. I love all the built mythology, right? Because I don't know too much about Japan. So I didn't know if the burning swans actually existed or...
No, they don't exist. I mean, they tried at home.
You made this up. Now I'm going to go to Japan and think
they have burning... I mean, they have things which burn and go up, but it's not swans. Because the physics of it will not allow it.
Correct. So and the other built-in mythology is also the Yadum, right? Which she says is कि मेरा खुद का invention है. But when you introduce that mythology, which is the Yadum moment, I am waiting for the Yadum moment to show up. My question is that what is the Yadum moment for? Is it when Vijay decides that he's going to...
That will be the moment.
It is, right? Yeah.
In fact, one of my co-writers, Arijit, even told me ki maybe we should just put that Sinu Anand's voice over there to make it clear. I said, I mean, you're trying a silent sequence and you, with
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
crutches, how
yeah.
are you hoping to,
Great.
make it exquisite, So,
Yes, because he that's what I thought was his Yadu moment. I wasn't so sure if she had one. But there were other moments. There is the film starts with two close-ups, of two mixer grinders, which I think is such a South Indian nod. I mean, that is just, like that visual is just us guys. Molagapudi is happening in one, and the other one is,
Right.
these sort of like
Pills are being crushed.
but I believe that you shot that later.
What happened is the film was sort of ready. I was showing it to my producers and Ramesh ji and his daughter and all that, and see for other people. I mean, I like to show the films to as many people as I can who will give me a frank, honest, brutal opinion, so that I know what I have done and what I have got. So I can still change things if I need to. So they all felt कि picture बहुत अच्छी है, first half बहुत slow है. That was Ramesh ji's first thing. Picture बहुत अच्छी है, first half बहुत slow है. So I said, okay, हाँ वो slow तो है. Then and he didn't know. He's the kind of producer. I mean, Sanjay of course is my friend, so it's different. But Ramesh ji is the kind of producer. He eventually respects the directors and his choices. You know, so that way it's a fab thing.
Yes.
Which maybe a corporate there'll be a lot of give and take and so he said ki. Then he said, no, I showed it to a few people. Everybody is feeling that. Can't you sort of start with an exciting beginning? So one option he had was show the Rosie killing first. Start the film with the Rosie killing, and then you just and then it's just 7 years later, and you have this guy. So okay, there's a crime, there's this. There's a choice, but it's like what do you say? Reading the ending of a book and then saying, oh, I'm enjoying the book, and I think I know what the end is. Kind of something like that. So then 2-3 other things they suggested. I said, please suggest what I can put. I don't want to shoot anything, and there's nothing to shoot actually. But I mean, other things like classic, jail se ek aadmi bahar nikla. These are all nice shots and very iconic shots from movies. Huh?
But sorry to interrupt you here, but you made that choice in Johnny Gaddar. Of showing us the ending first. So for that, I guess.
No, that's what I'm saying. So Johnny Gaddar, then Johnny Gaddar anyway, that was more like, because the reason for keeping it like that was I wanted the movie to be in black and white. I wanted it to be a homage to Asphalt Jungle and things like that. So I did all that. But here, so then I was thinking, what can we do? And then this idea struck. I don't know, maybe when my mom was making Molgapudi at home, I don't know at which point this idea struck. And I said, this is like, then we shot it and
then you find out later
who
it's for.
Because there is pills in one and the other, Molgapudi is the other one. Then I was narrating, I said, Vijay, I don't need you, but we'll use hands. It's not his hands actually. Anyway, this, I don't know whether I should say this.
That's fine.
Then Vijay said, it's a beautiful scene. Only just add the ring also there. I said, oh wow, that's a better thing. Otherwise, it was only Molgapudi being made,
Yes.
Then he said, just add the ring there. Then, so we added the ring, and I love that opening. And so it just intrigues you, okay, something is afoot.
Kuch to aa raha hai, bilkul. I remember, speaking of the ring, and in the wake of all the reviews that have come, people have been very, very touched and moved about the love story filmmaker that you've become. And especially in the wake of what's happened last year, in terms of these crazy tentpole, action-packed films, the same films we talked about some time ago, saying that you come out ringing. True. So, are you the love story filmmaker now for us? Because we want the love stories to come back so strongly.
No. See, I think all my films have some element of, even Ek Hasina Thi was a girl wronged in love. Sort of, that's what she felt.
Yes,
and Johnny Gaddar, the guy does everything he does for so-called love. He wants to elope with his...
Correct. But the greatest love story I've been left with from your films is the Dharamji and his wife track from Johnny Gaddar.
That's very lovely thing to say because, it's actually a beautiful thing. And since that's such a small part, it's just one little portion. But I mean, I'll tell you what happened. Johnny Gaddar, when I had the basic one line, I narrated to Kundan Shah. So Kundan Shah told me, I don't like the story, and that time I wanted another act. There's many years back, before it was made. So then he said, no, he said one thing which I love, he said, this is just a plot, and the plot has no life, and whereas life has no plot. So it's a nice sort of design of, So then I said, okay, let me flesh out all these characters and just forget the crimes they are about to do or what they have done, just see them as people and see what can happen. So Dharamji, I felt was a sort of one of those, gentleman crooks of the 70s, who, I mean, they'll do smuggling and they'll do all that, but they're not the kind who will be killing people and, doing horrible, they will not be kidnapping. There's no, and they'll be doing crimes of smuggling, actually, is the safest. And that too, what? Cigarettes and watches and things like that. And
वो धंधा करते हैं, murder नहीं करते.
Yeah. So, and obviously he loves his wife, and we said, who's his wife? So give her also character. So I thought, okay, suppose she's one of those Sathiyan, in the songs they have, इस गाने को गाया लता मंगेशकर, मुकेश और साथियों ने. तो साथियों साइड में रहते हैं, and they all 4-5 girls who are like, doing the.
She would have been a co-singer.
Yes, co-singers. So if she's one of them, so we did some photo shoot with her, with and all that. So suddenly she started getting a life, and this guy loves her. And then there was one scene which later on in the film it comes where he says he's obviously in love with her, and she's gone. And but he still remembers her, and he's got some of those songs she sung for him. And those days you get a boombox, you're damn thrilled because it's like you can record on it also. And I have also tried recording and my own voice and stuff like that. So since she's a singer, he's made her sing, and he listens to her songs every day.
Correct.
That is the love story.
Yeah, and I love that sequence because maybe not for you when you were writing it, but it was such a for 90s kids. It was a complete homage to Home Alone. Because you remember that scene in Home Alone, right? Where he uses the sound of the video to trick the thieves. And that happens at, in Johnny Gaddar later. But it's just about these things. But coming back to telling of love stories, I think that it has left people pining for love. I think that's also a product of the time that we've just been through. Do you think that?
I think so. I mean, we all need a little love or happiness in our life, and otherwise it's too much. Everything is an assault, usually.
It truly is now. This is strange that we're speaking at a time when it's the time of the tentpole film, right? What do you make of this trend? Like, do you think, and you've been very brave at this point to come with a film saying that it's a beautiful, it's still a Sriram Raghavan film, but it's got this softness to it, which I really, really enjoy. But did any of the mahal, as they say, impact any of the filmmaking?
Not really. I mean, because when you make a film, actually you get into your own cave, and you're only in that.
Correct.
So, I mean, the other films, much as I watch them, and some of them are, I enjoy them also. It's like I like to see it in a full hall and so on, so all that I enjoy. Just that when I'm making my film, I'm not thinking about, should it be like that, and should I add this for that? That I've never, luckily it never enters my system. Maybe because I began with Ramu, and he's he's a kind of guy who he doesn't take those kind of, at least in those days, in his heydays, whatever you call it, he was supremely, what do you say, individualistic.
So at that time, and thank God for that, because every film on that, when I sat here on the couch and I realized that it's been 20 years to Ek Hasina Thi, I was just like, oh wow, for you, does that weigh on you at all, that you've been a filmmaker for 20 years? Is it too little time? Is it too much time for all the films that you could have made so far?
I think it's just a date, and so I don't take it, with whatever, heavily, and I have to sit and retrospect or anything like that. So, but today 2-3 journalists asked me on the phone, I've yet to reply, how does it feel? How does it feel? What do I say? It's like, I remember, there's nothing to do with anything else, but the first day of shoot of Ek Hasina Thi, we were shooting in somewhere in Vile Parle. I live in Goregaon West, and we were shooting in the East. And I was going for the shoot, first day of shoot. And I remember I was in the rec, and every signal was green. When I succumbed, the signal became green.
Yes.
So I loved that.
It was a sign.
Yeah.
And 20 years later, ye signals hamesha green rahe. No, as I said, because we have many, many notes, I think it's very important. When you are designing a perfect crime, going back to Merry Christmas, you have to ensure that there are no loopholes for yourself. How tough or how fun is that process for you? Because it's a team of your writers, of course.
Of course. And can I just interrupt you? You hold your question, because I keep forgetting to mention. See, this film, there's a source material, this French novel. Then I did my version. Then I have my collaborators who have worked with me in Badlapur and Andhadhun, Pooja and Arijit. Then I also had a new collaborator, Anukriti. She also, I just wanted somebody fresh to come in, so just to give another, so that, because we among ourselves, we fight and we think of the story and we have fun doing that. I think one more person there, and she also loved the story, so she also joined us. So we did our version. Then this thought came, okay, we might do a Tamil version also. Now my Tamil is, I will not be good enough to work on dialogues in Tamil and so on.
Correct.
And I had met Kumar Raja at that time.
Yes, who
So
you thanked in the film.
So he
yes.
had come to Bombay for some other work, and I was telling him this is the story and so on. So he said, why don't you also make it in Tamil? I said, yeah, because we had lost some money during the pandemic or built a set and so on. So I thought it'll be great and I get a chance to make a Tamil film also. And so I said, look, I have no connections there. So he said, no, I've got a team of writers. He was doing Amazon Prime, that series, Modern Love.
Correct.
So he told me, look, my writers are there, so they can help you and all that. And I met them on Zoom. And before that, he said, I'll narrate the film to them, the flow, the script to them, and then I'll tell you what they think. So then that night he called me and said they loved the script. And so I said, great, I'll send you all the English version of the scenes and so on. Along with that, I told them one thing, please feel free to tweak it. I mean, if you feel something can be done, something else better, and all, you are absolutely okay.
Correct.
So I went there, and so they used to have, they were following everything. But they said, what if we do this instead of this? What if we do that instead of that? So 3-4 things were so good. I said, come here. I got it to my team. It's like I'm playing chess with one master there and one following the moves here. So a lot of osmosis happened between the two versions, and so there were nice ideas coming from there. There were nice ideas they were from here, which they were building up on, and so on.
Correct. No, so I love that. Yeah, I love that. Did you watch the French film?
I've seen the French film.
Okay. So
what happened is, if I had seen the film first, I would never have wanted to make the thing. But here I happened to read the book. The book was too lovely.
And the book had the bakery.
No, the book is set in France, and there he's a binder, and it's cold, winter. They had a furnace. Okay. So it's a furnace which is every house will have, and that's that kind of house doesn't exist in India.
Yes.
So we had a tough time. What do we do? We can't do so we tried. Is it a pizza? Wood fire, but with the kind of wood you can't burn all this in a pizza.
Yes, it has to be much bigger.
So the bakery seemed the best thing for धुआं निकल रहा है bakery से तो होता होगा, kind of a thing.
बिल्कुल. I mean, now I look at धुआं उड़ता हुआ very suspiciously. I was taking a walk the day after I watched your film, and I was walking on Juhu Beach, and across, there's that piece of land which is, government land that you can't walk into because it's part of the airport. And there was a huge cloud of black smoke at 8 in the morning. Needless to say, I looked at it saying, I hope everybody's alive. Like, what else? I'm still going to go back to my notes. Sriram, please don't mind.
What did I hold? You said something and I interrupted you.
No, I was talking about the bakery only. Night is Shakti Samanta. I mean, I love all of these things about the film. I think you just write these things. I remember in films like Andhadhun and in Johnny Gaddar, you introduced one massive twist later, which is that in Andhadhun, it's that doctor and the liver transplant, basically that organ transplant story that comes in and becomes even worse than what's going on.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, Arey bhai, like it's not bad enough कि अब ये भी हो गया उनके साथ. And even in Johnny Gaddar, the twist comes in when you introduce those fake notes, because then you're like, oh shit, like अब ये notes fake है, how many notes are fake? And I still remember when he says सिर्फ 8.5 लाख रुपए मिला लिया, and in your mind you're doing the math and you're saying, चलो 2 crore में से चलो 4.5 lakh is okay or whatever.
Yeah.
In this one, it didn't need it, right?
It didn't need it. I mean, so in that, those were about devious people. Here the people are not devious really. They are sort of more helpless, I would say. They have done horrible things, but out of helplessness.
They are both pavams, basically.
Yeah, pavam is the right word.
Is the right word. There's no other way to describe it. I think you could have told us what year it was set in, but you chose not to tell us that. Why?
No, simply because the year just becomes an unnecessary detail. Sometimes an interview asks me, so how old are you? I say, how does it matter regarding the film? Just to write. So course. I will, of course, my age is there everywhere, but so I'm saying likewise, I didn't want to 83 hoga or 84 hoga. If 84 hoga, to what are the events of that time, and something should reflect. I mean, whereas in fact, how to say, I didn't want this film to have any reality in it, realism in the usual sense of the word that we talk about,
Correct.
So whatever is there is like it's like a fairy tale you're reading or something like that. So even if you see Regal, none of those movies exist. You know,
Yes.
they are all films that filmmakers wanted to make. So there is Risiko, which is a Bond movie which never happened. So it was never made. Then there's Napoleon by Kubrick. That is it. And then there's Short Night by Hitchcock. These are the films being released there in that particular region.
So it's a
And if you
spending.
also see, there's also a poster of. I've not sort of gone crazy and given close-ups of those posters because it looks too much like, you know, I'm just trying to be. Okay, looks how much I know kind of thing. I don't want to do that. So there's a poster of the Alien by Satyajit Ray also is there in that lot.
Yes, and if that film would have been made,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So,
but eventually,
so
of
this
course,
movie is nothing real. And see, the basic reveal of the film is a very hokey reveal. It's not that I don't know it, you know. But my thing is, the reveal is hokey, so keep it aside. And the rest of it is what really I enjoy in the book, you know, because in reality, nobody can do this kind of a thing.
Yes. I mean, I must take a moment to just congratulate, you know, everybody who worked on the film. But I think the ones who we saw on screen, especially, it was a delight to see Ashwini Kalsekar every time whenever she comes. Also because she's the undoing of Johnny Gaddar, right? And then when she shows up here, you're just waiting for her undoing this one. And she was in Andhadhun as well. And every time she comes, you're just like, up, sab kuch.
Yeah, she undoes with the wallet. I mean, the wallet gets a little. It comes back into focus.
It comes back into focus, and then she says, I love it when she says, "Ki ye to unki purani aadat hai," because then you kind of figure that, you know, this guy is also going to be this is his MO, right?
Yeah.
And I think that the lack of understanding what the MO is and then playing it out later, it's almost like in the shot when he comes back with Sanjay Kapoor, she plays it like she almost doesn't see him, and I love that, and I love that because she's almost like, you're not even around anymore. I mean, I must say that, you know, Katrina Kaif was absolutely fantastic. I think
too good.
That
She's too good.
She was able to, and also to be that beautiful. I mean, that's the whole point, right?
Like, I think she got that sadness of the character very well, you know, and it's just not something I'm telling her, please play sad and all that. So even her laugh has got a certain, you know, her smile also has got a certain, you just want to befriend this girl, you know.
Protect her, because that the instinct of a man to come into the space. Because I've gone home and thought, okay, if I go on a date now, like, will men now after this movie just think twice before coming to? Hopefully it should happen. It should serve as one of those things. Sanjay Kapoor, of course, and just generally each and every character, as always. It's like watching, you know, one of those, you know, when we used to go to Marathi Sahitya Sangh and watch, like, each of the actors are better than the other, you know. So I think it's just one of those plays. I can talk to you forever, as you realized, but at some point, of course, I must let you go. But I really want to thank you for making a film that has left us, you know, so nervous and, you know, given me like the heebie-jeebies as always. I enjoy it. I put myself through it with every film of yours. I think I'm just a sucker for pain, Sriram. So thank you so much for giving us.
Thank you. It was good fun talking to you. And a lot of sort of odd things we spoke about, but good fun.
Yes, thank you so much.